Halo pemirsa, International Corner Talks Culture kembali bersama Duta Besar Uni Eropa untuk ASEAN, His Excellency Sujiro Seam. Mr. Ambassador, the world is facing a existential triple planetary crisis. Say climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution. Right. Now, these threats are linked, right, and are endangered our health, economies, and way of life. The cost of not acting will be insurmountable. Now, Mr. Seam, in your opinion, how do we start to act a simple, active green? What are the three ways, or at least, to get started?
Well, it's all about the little things, you know. Mm-hmm. And the event the European Union in ASEAN organized today, this fun run and walk, is a part of what we could do. It shows that to move around, you do not need to drive a car. You can actually walk, or you can run to work instead of driving to work. But it's not, of course, an option to run or walk to the office every day. But I mean, it's just an example that when you have different options, mm-hmm. there is always one option which has a lower impact on the environment. Okay. I mean, taking public transportation, for example, has a smaller footprint on mm-hmm. the environment mm-hmm. than driving alone in a car.
Mm-hmm. But what about our community? How can we green our community or neighborhood?
Well, I think here in Jakarta there is already quite a strong awareness, because since I arrived in this city, this is a very large city, 34 mm-hmm. million people, it's a lot of people. So I think the city sticks together, and you have the 34 million people, but you also have small communities. Mm-hmm. In my neighborhood, there is a neighborhood committee, and we do things such as planting green around the houses, making sure that there is no trash, making sure that we have a good water system, that mm-hmm. It doesn't get clogged. Mm-hmm. So it's about doing the right things at the individual level, doing it in the household, and doing it in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, Mr. Ambassador, now we will see how green you are through a quiz. Are you all set?
Looking forward to it.
Let's get to it. It's morning and you're getting ready for the day ahead. Time to get washed, but what do you choose? 10-minute shower because you have things to do, or 20-minute shower because you're sleepy and it's warm, so warm. The last choice, bath because nothing more relaxes you more before work.
Well, usually, Grazia, when I get ready for work, I'm a little bit in a rush, so I'll go for the 10-minute shower. But it's not the main reason. It's also because we have to be aware of our impact on water resources. So a 10-minute shower will always be better for water conservation than a 20-minute shower or bath.
A good choice. Now, it's time for work. But what transport did you take this morning? A, walking, B, metro or subway, C, car but you share lift with the children, or D, car by yourself.
So I have to be honest, ambassadors don't go around in public transportation, not when they are on duty. So of course I have my official car with my official driver, okay. picking me from my residence and taking me around to my professional commitments. Uh-huh. But if I had a choice, of course, I would privilege public transportation. It's not only a matter of choice, it's also a matter of providing the right options. You know, here in Jakarta, you have only one metro line. In other capitals in Southeast Asia, you have more metro lines. Mm-hmm. And public transportation, of course, is a very efficient way of moving people around, and it reduces our impact on the environment as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, this is lunch. Okay, which option sounds most like your lunch? A, meat, veg and dessert. B, most days you have a meat option. Or C, you tend to eat less meat and more veg and you never waste any food.
Well, wasting food is certainly not an option. I mean, it takes a lot of resources, it's hard work, and it costs money to provide food for everyone. So wasting food is certainly not an option.
No.
Afterwards, you need to balance your diet. So it very much depends on people's choice, but having a balanced diet is the key. So certainly you have to reduce the quantities and just eat what you need to sustain yourself. Don't overeat, don't waste food, but at the same time having the right mix of vegetables and proteins and carbs is absolutely the key.
That's principle, yeah? Which uses less water, Mr. Ambassador? Washing a full load of dishes by hand or in the dishwasher?
Well, actually, it might be counterintuitive, but with the rules imposed on the industry nowadays, a wash cycle in a machine can be very efficient water-wise as well. So it all depends on how much you have to wash. But I mean, the old belief would have been that you can wash your dishes by hand and it doesn't consume as much water. But now with the new rules we have on sustainable consumption and production, there are ways also to minimize the water intake on the washing machine.
You're so right on that, because hand washing dishes can use up to 50% more water than a water-saving, energy-efficient dishwasher. You're right. Next question. What type of supermarket bag is more eco-friendly, paper or plastic?
Well, actually, it's neither of them. If you go to the supermarket, you can take your own ways to bring your groceries back home. So that's what I do. So single-use paper or plastic will always be single-use. So if you have more sustainable ways to carry your groceries around, it's better. You just choose whatever you want. It can be a basket, it can be a bag, but certainly reusable and not single-use.
Yeah, bringing a reusable bag is the best, yeah? The best option. Next one. Appliances that are turned off don't use any electricity. True or false, sir?
Which appliance, I'm sorry?
Any appliances.
I think nowadays we can't run much without power, but there are certain things which are the energy consumption standards, and you can choose your appliance depending on this ranking on energy consumption. So regardless of the appliance, just try to go to the greener one.
Yeah, I agree. Now it's getting harder, Mr. Ambassador. Hybrid cars are slower and less safe than conventional cars. True or false?
Well, it's not really the case. I mean, we can have electrical vehicles which are very efficient and are very fast, but I think the key with electrical vehicle is the way you produce your electricity. If you produce your electricity through renewable ways, it's going to be much better than producing electricity from fossil fuels.
Next one. Approximately how much global electricity output is produced from renewable sources? You can choose 1%, 5%, 10%, or 20%.
Well, it depends on the countries. Some countries are very much advanced on the energy transition and have a very good performance in terms of renewable energy in their energy mix. It's not only a matter of country choice, it's also a matter of the resources you have available to you. I know in the ASEAN region, for example, Laos has a lot of hydropower resources, so its renewable energy proportion or contribution to the total energy mix will be higher. But in any event, it's not the absolute percentage which counts, it's the trend. So the trend should be towards more renewable energy. I would say worldwide, I wouldn't be surprised if it would be as low as 1 or 5%. But at the scale of the country, I think it can be much higher, and depending on the weather condition as well, because wind and solar depend very much on the weather conditions. Sometimes it can reach up to 50% at any given time.
You're right again, because only about 10% of global energy comes from renewables there, and that the remaining 92% comes from non-renewable sources like oil, coal, Wow. The last question. It is better to leave a lamp with a compact fluorescent light on than to turn it on and off several times a day. True or false, sir?
I think now we have very efficient lamp bulbs, so it's going to last longer. And I have no idea. Maybe we should still turn it off, because when we turn it off, it doesn't consume any energy. But it depends on the energy curve of the appliance. Sometimes it takes more to restart than just keeping it in standby mode.
It is always better to turn lights off and on when you need it. Okay, Ambassador Seam, thank you so much for this enlightening conversation today.
Thank you very much, Grazia, for having me.
Demikian pemirsa perbincangan International Corner Talks Culture dengan Duta Besar Uni Eropa untuk ASEAN, His Excellency Sujiro Seam. Terima kasih telah menyaksikan International Corner. Sampai jumpa di segmen berikutnya.